Okay, this is good. All right. Here we are. You wanted to introduce Varun? Let's start with that. Okay, let's go. Take one.
Hi, good evening, guys. We have Varun with us, owner of Bodhi Green's restaurant in Dharamkot. So, Varun, how are you, brother?
Good man. How's it going, Rahul?
Absolutely fine here. Thank you so much. So, this is Rohan Raja, our dear brother, Tantra expert. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take that. Okay, good. So,
So,
so basically, let's introduce Varun. He's a vegan chef. He's a I would say nutritionist. He's also into music, but a lot of food science and research is what today's our topic of conversation for this meeting. So personally, I've eaten at his restaurant many times. He's been around in the community for many years, and I also did a personal consultation with him, which was very informative. Now I didn't follow up, so it's a different story, but it could be really helpful in the future if someone wants to take a personal gut health, microbiome, or any just physical health consultation based on diet and other factors, right? So this is my introduction, but Varun, please introduce yourself and your mission, and that'll be more clear to the audience.
Okay, so I was diagnosed some 11 years ago with bulimia, which is a binge eating disorder. And I think life became a lot easier after the diagnosis because I started taking control of my own, body in a way I had never experienced before. Throughout my childhood, I had a lot of difficulties just navigating through nutrition and eating. I did not have like a stop button that would tell me to stop, and so I could eat like a lot. I was never obese. Somehow my metabolism was really fast. Maybe it was all the chai that I was drinking or whatever, but I could eat like three times a very heavy eater. So it was enormous and unhealthy, and I did not enjoy it. Like food became my coping, and when I was stressed out or anxious, I would go for even more food. And even if I'm full, I did not really have a stop button. But the diagnosis changed it all, and it got me interested into, how can I cultivate a better relationship with myself and with my eating habits. And that I thought would get answered if I study nutrition. And then that's when I did the Cornell University's plant-based nutrition course from the nutrition studies branch
Online
of
course.
Cornell University.
Yeah,
And
nice.
it was very empowering. And it was only towards the end of the course in the psychology of food section that I discovered that there's a lot of childhood trauma here that I am not focusing and uncovering. And that's when I started uncovering and sort of peeling off one layer at a time of my own childhood. And I think years and years and years of hard work of just journaling a lot and filling notebooks after notebooks about my own childhood, I reached at a level where I started sort of feeling very safe in my mind, in my body, in my soul, and did not need any psychiatric sort of drug intervention anymore. So luckily I'm off of drugs now finally. And
What drugs were these?
so binge eating disorder has a 98% comorbidity with the uh, ADHD, which is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. And so the pills that are usually recommended, let's say Adderall or Ritalin, uh, are very effective for treating the symptoms of BED as well, bulimia as well. And that really helped. Like I was taking Ritalin, but my dosage was just increasing and increasing.
Oh,
And
yeah?
I was like, because you become more, tolerant to the drug. So you need more after a certain time. So my psychiatrist was like very helpful, and she wasn't like treating me like a pagal person, like a madman who's been forced into like a psychiatric setting. So she knew that I'm very self-motivated to work on my well-being, and I'm already very healthy. I'm a Pahadi boy. I can climb mountains very fast. I'm very fit and fine and healthy. But it's just that eating, my relationship with food wasn't optimal. It was getting better a lot with the drug intervention, and that's when she recommended, why don't you consider psychotherapy? and psychotherapy was the game changer. And I feel nutrition and psychology are not different subjects, they are one subject.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's me. I am on a discovery to of myself, where I'm trying to uncover, thank you, layers after layers of my own childhood. There's a lot to uncover and peel even now. I feel like after like almost what 11 years of psychiatric and psychotherapy help, I still feel I'm just starting to scratch the surface of my own childhood trauma, and there's a long way to go. But it's been very empowering overall. And the benefit that you see when you practice some of the most basic things in nutrition, let's say time restricted eating, and like having it gives you a body like a rhythm to follow. Okay, this is the time that I get breakfast, even though my breakfast could be different every other day. There is at least some consistency with regards to my meal time. So the timing is consistent, and let's say the certain food ingredients in my pantry don't change so drastically. So there's also a rhythm there as well. And all of that sort of helps you feel very light in your gut. And it's just a space, a very important space for us to tap into this
Of
gut.
course, of course.
We can't ignore the science of it. It's very interesting how the fungi and the bacteria inside of us makes us,
True.
the fun
Yeah.
guys that we are
Right.
today.
Fun guys. Exactly. So this is something that I did not know about Tarun from about not Tarun Varun from the past, is that his encounter with psychiatric and psychiatric medicines, because I had a similar thing, which was a very short-lived 2-week journey with psychiatric medicine, wrongly diagnosed, and then I immediately gave up taking it. But it kind of caused my life to go more towards yoga and tantra, yoga and sattvic food and yogasanas and all. So it's very interesting to see that even your journey began from a problem to be solved, which definitely gives you more of an inspiration and an empowerment to go above and beyond just solving your personal problem, then to go beyond to the society and community and to help them. It becomes an altruistic journey. And honestly, I've been always I've walked by so many times outside the restaurant and Bodhi Greens, and I visit the vibes there, the kind of people that come there. They're either vegan themselves or they're looking to eat healthy food. Now, the taste is a factor that some is has always come in Bodhi Greens as a surprise, that it's actually the food is really tasty. So my question would be like, my commitment towards my health is not as much as yours towards your gut health, right? Because I do end up eating things that are not that great for the gut. So the audience would also like to know, and I would like to know, we would like to know that, are there any hacks, bro? Like, should I just like have a probiotic at night so my gut gets cleansed? Like dahi, or like, no, not okay, they're vegan. So like a probiotic kombucha or something that'll, like give us a little bit of an hack and not rather than be disciplined towards every meal being so healthy. Because you travel, you are going to eat food that is not really good for you. It's not. So give us a hack, bro. That's what I always wanted.
So unfortunately, the first thing I'd like to say is that there are no shortcuts when it comes to health. And you've
Yeah.
got to understand that, see, if you don't eat healthy food consistently, let's say if anything less than 70% of your diet is not healthy, then it's not going to be a very sort of a safe space to feel. Your body is a very, important sort of space. It's
Right.
it's a geographical location. Where is it?
It's a
My
kitchen.
soul is
Yeah,
located
your
in my
stomach is
body.
a kitchen,
So
yeah.
if I'm feeling uncomfortable in my body, it's probably got to do with 70% of my diet at least not being
Right.
sort of functional. And uh, this is what makes me want to say that there are 12 food groups in nutrition. Let's say there are 12 food groups. So if the simple science of nutrition is to try to maximize on each 12 of them on a daily basis, if you're missing one or two, or maybe let's say three ingredients today, and consistently you're missing three ingredients chronically for like let's say year, 3 4 years, maybe 5 years, you will start to see those nutrient deficiencies in your body. And it's like the switch has been turned off. And if the minute you start bringing those food groups back into your diet,
Mhm.
the switch gets turned on again and you reach nutrient sufficiency. So it's simply about real whole food and understanding what these ingredients what these food groups are and what all ingredients do I feel comfortable eating for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and are they affecting me in a positive way or a bad way, and do they qualify to like help me sort of build a diet that is 70 80% maybe 90% healthy, and then 10 20% I can indulge. I can have a vada pav, I can have a cheesecake, I can have a biryani. It doesn't matter. Let's say, for example, I'll give you two examples. First is a calorie example, second is a meal example. You're eating 10,000 calories in 5 days. As a good man, let's say I'm aiming for 10,000 calories in 5 days. Now, if 2,000 calories are coming from bad, unhealthy food, and 8,000 are coming from really healthy whole foods, like say cruciferous vegetables, leafy greens, other vegetables and mushrooms, and beans and whole grains and other fruits and berries and all of those like simple healthy ingredients, then it doesn't matter. But if let's say 3,000 calories are coming from um, that, then it's starting to be unhealthy. And let's say 4,000 calories are coming from the unhealthy stuff, then my body is not going to find that balance and rhythm. See, we live in the society where all of these foods and unique ingredients and aromas we pass by every time we're walking on that lane, right? From Bodhi to Open Heart, if you're walking, there are just so many aromas that your mind will be enticed with. Like, wow, Trek and Nine, the pad thai looks great. Oh my God.
And that Lhasa, they have this the bad oil, and it's almost like the opposite effect of eating at Bodhi Greens.
Yeah, they
But
have
they-
hydrogenated palm oil,
Yeah.
which has got like trans fats and all in it. So you're right.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. We are not calling it out for those who want to eat that food. It's their choice. But I have noticeably seen that some restaurants, one ingredient is so bad for you that, like, literally, even if you put everything else that's healthy, it's always going to make you feel down and groggy, and your face will puff up. You know, it's so many things.
Yeah.
So
Let me complete my
Sure,
method.
yeah.
The second analogy would be of meals. Let's say you're having 21 meals in 7 days. Now, let's say if you're eating 5 meals, up to 5 meals outside, and it doesn't matter what you're eating, it's great, no problem. But if it's more than five, then that balance gets off. So the simple hack, my simple hacks are, number one would be stocking up on a lot of fruits. Fruits is something that most of us Indians are deficient in. We do not eat enough fruit. A man like me who eats 2,400, 500 calories every day, I need about 3 or 4 large mangoes worth of fruit minimum a day. So there's no upper limit on how much fruit I can eat, but there is definitely a lower limit, and that's the bare minimum fruit I should be eating every day. And so, statistically speaking, 80% of us Indians do not eat enough fruits and vegetables. We'll talk about that. So the number one hack is to just when you're in the market or when you're passing by a fruit shop, just give him 500 rupees and tell him to put all the fruits possible in your basket.
True.
Take them home, and when you see fruits in front of you,
Go for it.
you're biologically wired to go get it. Sooner or later, maybe first few weeks you might waste a few fruits, but over time you'll start consuming most of them. Second is vegetables. If you are someone who eats out like you a lot, then look for vegetables. Think of leafy greens as your best friends that are going to give you that roughage that your gut microbiome needs, the fiber, but also the minerals, the polyphenol boost, the antioxidants, and the vitamins that your body needs. So
Right.
leafy greens and vegetables are something that you might want to order.
Mhm.
And the third thing is understanding inflammation. Inflammation is very important to understand in very, very simple words. Imagine if,
Yes.
let's say, my finger gets wounded, if it's scratched, let's say a cat, I'm cuddling a cat and the
Right.
cat goes like,
Yeah, love that.
and
But I don't like the scratches. Yeah.
and let's say it starts to bleed.
Yeah.
Now you will notice that within a few hours it starts to heal.
Huh.
Vitamin K comes to your rescue, it
Right.
clots the blood.
Mhm.
Then there are certain membranes that start to build up. And what if you scratch it even further? It will bleed more. And then you keep scratching it, keep scratching it.
Mm.
One day will come, the entire finger is wounded.
Right.
True.
So unfortunately,
Mhm.
that's what's happening inside of us. When we eat something
Mhm.
that is inflammatory in nature,
Mhm.
it will cause a wound inside of us at one point in the digestive tract. And that wound, if we continue scarring again and again with more of these specific foods that cause inflammation, then the wound will keep growing in size, and eventually we will reach a state of chronic inflammation. And
That's
it leads to
dangerous.
mental fatigue,
Right.
increases your chances of depression and anxiety, affects your sleep big time. And sleep, as we know, is one of the biggest drugs out there
I love it.
to
Sleep a lot.
improve your
That
health and all.
actually results in gas, bloating, and foggy mind,
Louder, louder,
right?
louder.
That actually results in gas, bloating, and foggy
Gas
mind.
and bloating also. Like if there is inflammation in, let's say, the small intestine
Mhm.
and the large intestine, it can lead to gas and bloating. Also, gas is like in the in the stomach,
Mhm.
we have a very common bacterial overgrowth called Helicobacter pylori.
Mhm.
Almost 70% of Indians, unfortunately, are carrying this parasite inside of us.
Okay.
And probiotics are not the solution to that problem. And taking antibiotics is also should not sustainable in the long term.
Right.
Um, so, and the second problem is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Certain bad bacteria can colonize the small intestine, and then irritable bowel syndrome or any sort of bad bacterial overgrowth of the large intestine, also known as the gut. It can also cause inflammation. So bacterial infections can also lead to wounding and inflammation.
Right.
And some like constipation and diarrhea, chronic constipation diarrhea are directly linked to these overgrowth of these certain bad bacteria.
So on the level of gut microbiome, so obviously there's a lot of research and a lot of talk going on right now. One is to obviously, like you said earlier, get you get all the nutrients you want. But what has happened is already everybody's gut microbiome, the environment in the gut is not the same, right? Some people are producing certain enzymes more. Some are producing certain, as it is kind of a situation of a normal person's gut, right? Some people are producing more bile, some produce less production of bile. Some people are able to absorb certain nutrients better. Some people have like peanut allergy or whatever, like kind of allergies as well to certain things. So now, if on a very plain scale, if you had a person coming in and he wanted to repair the gut microbiome, obviously it's not a one day process, I understand, but is it good to flush it out with like a laxative and then start creating the microbiome on top, like start putting layers of certain foods that will start populating certain bacteria on the the your line, the, the line of your gut? And then like is there a system of actually resetting, replenishing, and then starting all over healthy? Is this something that you've explored, like if a patient
For sure. I
comes
mean, there are so many unique body types. Everyone has their own body sort of,
Mhm.
composition,
Right.
their own stress levels. But I feel there is an underlying element of trust. If we know if my finger gets hurt today, if a cat scratches it, as long as I don't bother it and let it heal, it will heal. So that when I allow time for healing consciously, my body is so intelligent that it starts to heal. So first of all, it's very important to emphasize trust. Now, trusting, that can sound very simple.
Mhm.
Maybe it can be an affirmation that reads like I can say something like, okay, I trust that my body has all the resources to heal itself.
Mhm.
I can say that 5 times, and it will allow my body to sort of breathe into this affirmation.
Mhm.
Okay, I trust the intentions of people who love me.
True.
So it emphasizes trust not only inside my body but in the outside environment as well.
Right.
And that creates ground for healing, because gut is directly connected to the brain.
Exactly.
In fact, the gut microbiome is populated with 38 trillion microorganisms. Most of them bacteria, followed by fungus. So all the fungi, the fun guys inside of us, they are directly controlling our brain because of the neural and the vagal pathways that directly connect the gut to the brain. And if you didn't know, like 90-95% of the serotonin, which is the daylight hormone, the sunshine hormone, is produced by the fun guys in the gut. So they really control the world,
Right.
and our subconscious brain, which we are not conscious of. So when it comes to healing the gut, the first thing is to not only emphasize trust, it's actually a precursor to that is scientific awareness. I need to know that what I'm consuming is healing for my gut. Like I gave you the 3 recommendations.
Yeah, you did.
The first one was like, okay, eat more fruits and berries. Second was eat more vegetables, as many as possible. And third, which I couldn't really complete, was that saturated fat is the cause of inflammation. The leading cause of inflammation, you can find this on Google or ask ChatGPT, about inflammatory markers being elevated with higher saturated fat consumption. So saturated fat is the key nutrient or toxin to focus on.
Give them an example of what could bring in saturated fat.
Let's say I go to a restaurant and order a palak mushroom matar. Now all the green is palak. Mushrooms are super healthy. Matar are like nice protein, high fiber, green color. Everything is so healthy about this.
Right.
But let's, for example, assume that they've used hydrogenated palm oil, which is full of saturated and trans fats, which are even unhealthier actually. And so that dish now, it's a complicated mix of a lot of different nutrients and certain toxins. Any disease is caused by these 2 problems. First is nutrient deficiency. In this recipe, there is no nutrient deficiency. In fact, there is nutrient sufficiency.
Yeah.
The second cause of disease is toxicity,
Right.
nutrient toxicity. So we are giving our body certain toxins, and in this case, the benefit of the nutrients that we're giving us will be there, but the damaging effect of all the hydrogenated palm oil, which is full of trans and saturated fat, will also be there. So there will be some benefit, but probably a lot of damage at the same time.
Right.
So when we're looking for maximizing on vegetables and fruits, we want to also try to choose the oils very carefully and try to maybe eliminate oils altogether if that's possible. Okay, maybe just having boiled or steamed vegetables with some plain tahini sauce or hummus or some muhammara or some sesame ginger sauce or like some nice vinaigrette, or maybe just some apple cider vinegar, salt and pepper on top. Could do like having your vegetables clean, your dal clean, like without any processed oils or with minimum amounts of those, can reduce the toxins intake of our body into our body. Yeah.
So it's because see, just a personal question. When I started off with being diet conscious, I started off with sattvic. So that was given to me as a recommendation by my yoga teachers, yoga institute, everything. And I followed everything sattvic. But what I realized is, even by eating sattvic, I was getting a little bit of bloating because I wasn't digesting even the good dal, which is made at home. The green, yellow, or the green gram, green gram, all that stuff. But it wasn't getting digested the way I wanted it to get digested. And maybe the wheat was probably not the best, meaning like it was probably processed. Whatever, there were a few other things. It was probably not a perfect diet, but it was close to perfect. Now, everyone outside, it's a typical Indian home. You eat dal, you eat vegetables, you eat chapati. Chapati, we can get a better grain, wheat, understood. Dal, we can find high quality dal. But still, I feel that there could be bloating for some reason. And many people are facing this problem. of eating good Indian food, healthy food, but they get bloated. And then they don't know what to do. They think they're unhealthy, which is true. It could be some unhealthy. Now, what is it water retention? Why is this cause? And are there some hacks or ways to get rid of that and have a clean digestive system? And also having to shit clean, your, your, your stools clean.
Yeah.
There's such an achievement when you see clean stools. So is there like a hack, or is there a
So
way of
for the short term, using laxatives can help you build consistent stool quality, but overall, if I am trying to go for um, beans and cruciferous vegetables not really causing that sort of bloating in an average Indian tummy, the solution is in the problem. So the problem is inflammation around in the abdomen, around the belly area, right? And that's what you mean by bloating.
Right.
Now,
okay.
bloating, what is bloating? Bloating is a very natural phenomena that takes place, and let's say when an animal would eat food, they would also, you can visibly tell the difference when your pet dog has eaten food and maybe he's hungry. Like
The
before,
difference in the flow.
of course, and this is very, very natural. How you know it's bloated is by simply doing something I call the poking test. You can poke into your belly, and if it's very smooth and pokeable, then it's fine. That's healthy bloating. And you need to trust that this is healthy bloating. It will naturally heal. If it's not pokeable and it's swollen like a balloon and it's like stone hard, you can't poke it. That's when you know that it's not really healthy bloating. And when it's unhealthy bloating, that means that there is some sort of a excessive wounding going on inside of your gut. Now, this could be because of something like a host lot of factors. The most common is over fermentation. So, excuse me, also known as FODMAPs. Now, FODMAPs basically means, let's say, fructose, oligosaccharides, and other sort of sugars being over fermented, which means that the bad bacteria is eating those sugars and not the good bacteria. The good bacteria does not have the opportunity to eat the sugar in the moong dal or the fiber in the fruits or the fiber in the whole grains or the fiber in the rajma or the chole. Now, that's why it's giving you the bloating. Or the cabbage or the broccoli is giving you bloating because the sugars in it are getting over fermented by the bad bacteria and not really the good bacteria. Now, to stop that, you have to slow down on these food groups and slowly and gradually increase the intake of other food groups, let's say whole fruits, berries, and lighter dals, lighter whole grains that won't cause that much bloating in the initial stages. And secondly, the best and the most powerful thing to do is to use herbs and spices as the treatment. Now we have enough balance of scientific evidence to prove that, let's say, black cumin, kalonji, licorice root, fenugreek, fenugreek seeds and hing, they can drastically reduce bloating symptoms and inflammation in the colon. So understanding these herbs and spices and actually using them in a higher dose and a controlled dose to sort of manage that inflammation can be very powerful. I can't really recommend a one rule that fits all here, but trying to maximize on whole grains and beans, trying to maximize on these herbal medicine without a professional's help can be like, like throwing an arrow out in the open and then drawing a bullseye around it. Maybe, the Texas sharpshooter's fallacy and trying to draw patterns and correlations without any scientific proof. So it can be a little risky. So consulting a professional here who can help you understand your bloating symptoms better and manage your diet better. It's a lot of work when we talk about emotional health. Let's say you have a problem in your teeth. Now you will go to a dentist and you don't want to change your dentist every week. You want to have a relationship with that dentist, or it's the same relationship you want to have with your mental health provider. It's the same relationship you want to have with your family doctor and also your nutritionist or dietitian.
So, I mean, okay, nutritionists and all, like, not everybody, first of all, can afford. So, not everybody can, and even if they can afford, they may not have the time or the discipline, right? So that's one thing. So
So
what?
for them,
Mm.
I think it's best not to explore the herbal remedy part and consult like a doctor or like a nutritionist only for like an individual session, like a quick session. Okay, I am exploring these herbal remedies for these symptoms. Is this effective or not effective? So I think that could be, one way, not really going full fledged with like planning your diet and structuring it, but just specific consultation or questioning of the herbal remedies. But regardless of that, bringing structure and information and rhythm to your daily diet, to your real breakfast, lunch, and dinner is the key. Eating a ashwagandha or a spirulina or like a mulethi supplement is, or a
Once in a
turmeric
while,
pill
yeah.
is not going to solve the problem, because they have trace minerals and trace vitamins.
True.
They do not have the real nutrition of, let's say, polyphenols, antioxidants, isoflavones, minerals, and
Real food.
vitamins
Yeah.
that your breakfast, lunch, and dinner has. So the real superfood is
The real
is
food.
your breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah.
So you need to maximize and plan those things around whole grains rather than refined grains, a lot of vegetables, and like cooked without saturated fat or with minimum amounts of saturated fat, and also lots and lots of fruits and berries. And once you bring structure with these three principles, vegetables, beans, and whole grains, and uh, fruits and berries, then you start to see a lot of structure in your daily diet. And that's the only way of healing. Even if you have herbal intervention, it will not be effective if your breakfast, lunch, and dinner is not structured. So
Right.
bringing some sort of like a rhythm and structure to your main meals is the
This is the key.
answer.
So here's the fun part. Of course, the discipline obviously required. Now think about it. About even in this town, which is, we are in Dharamkot right now. There's a lot of yoga and health people come in here. But even in this place, if I have to really go through with all this like whole foods and having, the only restaurants here, a couple of them, maybe yours, maybe Joy Food might has some good decent food I saw, maybe Trimurti. It's far and few in between. So what hack I thought was just to, if once I get garbage in my stomach, by sometimes I eat something, you eat somewhere and for the taste or the dessert. What I do is fast for a day. Fast like for a day or two, and then get the system back reset, and then try to eat healthy, right? So is that the best way? Because it's not like everyone can just on the move or all the time have access to these very well curated restaurants like yours. um so is that fasting a good technique?
It's good and bad. There are mixed feelings around fasting, because caloric restriction, like restricting your calorie intake, can be more damaging than good. It can permanently damage the way your blood pressure like fluctuates. So it can lead to hypertension in the long term. And hypertension will eventually lead to heart disease, and hypertension will also disrupt your sleep a lot. So fasting from a very planned and a conscious approach, where you're already following a healthy diet and want to cleanse and then get back on a healthy diet, is the only fasting that I recommend.
Okay.
I do not recommend fasting from the perspective of caloric restriction,
Hmm.
because that has been scientifically proven to be more damaging than good.
So intermittent fasting, right? Like for example, causes ketosis when you are hungry, and then it's known that your body burns fat cells. Maybe not the most healthy way to do it, but like for example, from a yogic standpoint, when I see these, people doing sadhana as in for fasting on specific days of the moon cycle with the nature, and then being like, okay, and then you see some of them obviously are doing well, some of them are not. But I was hanging out with the Naga Babas and asked them what they eat, because those guys, in my opinion, are really, they may not be nutrition balanced, but the life force energy in them, I see, is higher than most people, right? And that's a indicative of how healthy the person can be, because these guys can live in sub-zero temperatures, they can climb mountains, they're very physically healthy and active, mentally also they're sharp. So their whole thing was, we eat very limited and we fast a lot. But it may not be true for most people, like you and me who are living regular lives. But are there any things that we can take from these special people and use it in our specific diet, to use ketosis or use fasting methods and include them with kind of intermittent good nutrition? No, he's now to just again. Go ahead.
So with regards to intermittent fasting, it is very, very powerful,
Mhm.
and I highly recommend it. But you can easily go wrong with intermittent fasting. The problem with intermittent fasting is that you are supposed to do it with the rhythm of the sun. The circadian rhythm is something you need to keep in mind,
Mhm.
because our digestive enzymes and the gut microbiome's capacity to digest and
Mhm.
utilize the fiber and roughage to produce butyrate and acetic acid and all the short chain fatty acids
Oh,
is maximum when it's daylight outside,
right.
and it shuts
So
down.
eat in the day, basically.
Yeah, when
Okay.
you're
That's beautiful. I
yeah,
like that.
so when you stop eating after sunset, or like as
Mm.
soon as possible after, like
Yeah,
after
yeah,
dark,
of course.
and you eat only after the sun is out,
Mm.
that's naturally intermittent fasting for more than 12 hours
I've
on
been
most
doing
days.
that actually.
And so yeah, that's very healthy.
Yeah.
And during the eating window, let's say you have a 8 maybe 10 12-hour eating window,
Mhm.
during those hours, still following a specific rhythm is very important, and having a structure to your diet is very, very important.
Right.
And so completing those 12 food groups goes like
Right.
beyond saying it's the most crucial thing we need
Right.
to do.
What about the wild man? So right now we are.
So now if we think of body fat percentage and athletic capacity,
Oh.
we have now the top athletes in the world, let's say Djokovic, Serena Williams, Virat Kohli, they're all embracing a plant-based lifestyle,
Right.
and they've all seen incredible results in their performance. If you look at any of those interviews, they will very openly and very proudly say that, hey, the effect of a whole food, a vegan or a plant-based diet has been enormous on their overall well-being.
Mm.
But if you compare a carnivorous who's eating like beef, like steak for breakfast, and like another carnivorous meal for lunch and then dinner, and a lot of butter and ketogenic or a paleolithic diet,
Mhm.
so-called paleolithic diet,
Mhm.
we might see a very healthy person from the outside. They must be really fit, they might have a lot of muscle,
Yeah.
but what might be happening deep inside the body is something we don't know. We have seen, now we have clinical studies to prove that some of the healthiest looking individuals, they look so healthy and fit from the outside. They try to sleep healthy, they exercise a lot, but they eat like a keto diet, they die out of nowhere.
Mm.
So we've seen deaths now. So it's not safe, it's not recommended to have a high fat diet. In fact, in the short term, ketosis might be beneficial, but on a long term scale, we're looking at a diet which reduces saturated fat intake as much as possible. So not like, in fact, the opposite of a high saturated fat, opposite of a keto diet, which is a low fat diet, a low fat diet centered on whole plant food. Let's think of spinach that Popeye the Sailor Man ate. Spinach gave him all the power. Spinach is a low calorie
It was
food.
propaganda, but it was for the kids in America to eat spinach. But true.
No, spinach is actually very
Yeah.
healthy,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's full of roughage, amazing nutrition. We eat spinach. I try to eat spinach every day, just like Popeye. So
Are your
it's
arms big? That's your arms. Okay.
see, I'm an endurance athlete. I can go to
Yeah.
355 minutes.
Are you?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So
See,
last
I
year,
can't do that yet.
2 years ago, I did in 1 hour 11 minutes
Oh wow.
from my restaurant to Triun, and last year I did in 55 minutes.
Is it? So guys,
So as I'm growing older, my
Mhm.
physical strength is
increasing.
only getting better.
Yeah.
And now I know, like, from the balance of scientific evidence, and if you're curious to know more about it, watch this documentary called The Game Changers. And you will see that only the opposite of a high fat diet, which is a low fat diet centered on whole plant foods, which is super high on roughage, like fiber.
I've actually watched it, and one of the most famous celebrities from all over the world. Okay. And
One of the most famous
celebrities from all over the world have adapted this kind of lifestyle, veganism, and the transformational changes that, transformational changes that they had got to witness within their own self was commendable. And the another one, I mean, I watched a documentary too, where people from different communities from all over the world, okay, they adopt a cleaner and healthy natural lifestyle, and how longer they are living throughout their life was the result actually. See, Varun, I just wanted to ask you one question. Since you mentioned about the daily intake of few ingredients, 12 ingredients, would you like to specify what kind of ingredients are these ones? Actually,
Ingredients.
yeah,
So
that are essential for
I'm
our
not
body
sure
intake.
if I would want to call them ingredients. I would call them food groups. So
Okay.
you can be in England, you can be in Dubai, you can be in Mali in West Africa in a tribe, or you can be in Japan in Okinawa, or you're in India in any corner of the world and eating unique ingredients, but they all fall under the categories of certain food groups.
Hmm.
So each food group might have thousands, if not hundreds, thousands of food groups.
Correct.
So it's about understanding what food groups are there. So let's say, for example, the first food group we can say is beans, or beans also includes peas and lentils. So it's also all the legumes or pulses. So this food group includes all beans, peas, and lentils. All masoor dal, rajma, chole, matar, everything is in this category.
Correct.
And they have been declared as the food for longevity. Like legumes for longevity, beans for longevity. They are exceptionally amazing in controlling our blood sugar response and giving us satiety because of its high fiber, high resistance starch content. So we can feel full for a really long duration of time, and that balance of our blood sugars helps us focus better, live better. So beans are not just for longevity, they are for focus, better clarity, and better brain health as well. And they're exceptionally high in protein and other minerals and some essential B vitamins as well. So now you're looking at beans, and if you look at any country, they have at least 5 different types of beans, maybe more. In India, we have hundreds of different types of dals.
Correct.
So you might be eating the same 5 or 10 dals as one individual, and it might be very different from me. But it still falls under the same first food group of beans or dal, let's say. Just like that, there are other food groups. I can go on talking about each and every food group in
I
detail,
understand.
and
I
we can have a
understand.
full podcast
I do understand.
dedicated to one food group only. So,
So,
yeah.
since we had a discussion about this gut inflammation,
Yeah.
right? So this is very important factor actually, a very important discussion, because that is the core actually where it begins from actually. So I would just like to know, how do you identify that your body is not getting used to or reacting to to certain groups of food or
I
any
think
kind of
there are
food
many
actually?
tests you can take. You can take food intolerance tests or skin allergy swab tests
Yeah.
to understand if you have any specific allergies or food sensitivities.
Mm-hmm.
So there can be certain compounds that are actually beneficial for your body, supposed to be beneficial for your body, but in your case, they are triggering wound that is already there, starting that tissue. And how we know that? Because the body is producing antibodies. Now, could look like you have unexplained skin rashes, you have unexplained vitamin mineral deficiencies in your body, and you have issues with your sleep, with your ability to focus. Basically, a healthy nutrition, healthy diet leads you to feel full mental clarity from the second you wake up till the time you want to sleep.
Correct.
So from the time you're up till the time you go to bed, your body, if you
finally
explain it.
getting internet back, and now we are also connected to live.
I don't smoke,
I will
man.
just pause the video for
Like,
some
I don't
time,
have any stuff.
and we'll come back with a
You
little bit
guys
of a
had
break. So, Mansi, we've just finished. I think the internet went up and down. So, I want us to kind of stitch this part and the coming part. Right now, we want to wrap up in a very organic way for what we're doing right now. Okay. So, we'll have two parts of the recording, but we'll have a single recording which I need to be stitched. Okay. Is that clear? Message if you understood that, and then we'll start in some time. Okay, great. Okay, thank you. Good. Okay, recording is still on, but we got offline and online. Okay, we'll check it out. Okay, all right. Okay.
Bhai, let's get one song also.
Yeah, man, that'll be so nice.
Ga re sa sa re sa re ga.
Yes, perfect. You can just
Sa re ga ga ma ga ma ma re ga ga ma dha pa dha ma pa ga 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 ma pa ma re ga ma dha ni pa dha ma pa dha pa ma dha ne re sa ni re ga ma re sa re sa ne dha pa dha ma pa ga ma re sa भूल भूल की याद रही पिया मैं कद भूली तो है मैं कद भूली तो है भूल भूल की याद रही पिया मैं कद भूली तो है मैं कद भूली तो मैं भूली तो भूल भई मैं भूली तो हो मैं भूली तो हाँ मैं भूली तो भूल भई पिया तू मत भूलियो मोहे तू मत भूलियो मोहे जय हमसी तुमको सैकड़ों हमसी तुमको सैकड़ों पर तुम सा हमको हमसी तुमको सैकड़ों तुम सा हमको अपने करम पर की जो नजरिया अपने करम पर की जो नजरिया ओ गुण हमरे न दे पिया ओ गुण हमरे न दे जैसा मई को अपना किए हो वैसा ही मी को निभा लाज तुम्ही को हमरी खाजा रोवे न जग में हंसाए मैं तोरे चरण लागे रे 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 मुझसे नैना मत मोड़ना नामों से नैना मत मोड़ना मुझसे नैना मत मोड़ना मैं तोरे चरण लागी रे धा पा धा मा पा गा मा
See, is your mic now working? Are you still having food? No, I mean, but regardless, is the mic working right
Nancy,
now?
are you there?
Yeah, let me call her up actually. I'm not sure if, even though we've got Dharti House personal meeting where the other team is not there.
Also,
Ji.
irrespective of they being here or not,
Uh-huh.
completed right now because
Yeah. Hi, Mansi. Yeah, we've just joined the call again, and now we just need to take a 5 minutes of an outro. If the recording is still going on, it's this outro as in introduction, and then outro as in saying bye to all of our guests, closing up properly so that people remember, putting the names, and then Dharti House, Bodhi Greens, putting all the branding out, and that's what we want to do now. So this recording that is there right now, has it been on for like a while?
No, but there was no network.
Yeah, that's what. So we dropped off, but Zoom is still recording us dropping off. That kind of,
Everything we've said has been recorded.
not everything. Shadi Shadi. The part about